This is the first video in a series of videos all about decimals. So today we're going to begin by studying about decimals written in word form and in standard form and how you do both of those. To begin with, we first of all need to understand what the place values are for the decimals and what each position represents. So let's just talk about each of those for a few minutes. We have, I just did a few of them. Now it keeps going in both directions, of course, but if you have a number that begins with 100 and then tens and then ones are before this decimal place. That is all before the decimal place. Notice after the decimal place, everything ends in with a THS, tenths, hundredths, thousandths, 10,000ths. So on the right of the decimal, it begins in the tenths position. So let's look at the example here. We have 68.23. The 6, we don't have any hundreds, okay? So the 6 is in the tens position. The 8 is in the ones position. And then after the decimal, I have the 2, which is in the tenths position, and the 3 is in the hundredths position. I'm going to erase this a little bit and use some different colors to help us be able to follow that a little bit better. The 8 is in the ones position. And let's see, this 2 would be in the tenths position. And the 3, therefore, would be in the hundredths position. And it'll be a little bit more clear as the next examples that we do. So again, the 6 is in the tens, the 8 is in the ones spot, and then immediately to the right of the decimal we have the tenths and then the hundredths position. Okay, let's go ahead and look at another example. 645 and 3,498 10,000ths position. So I'm going to write the numbers above each position. Before the decimal should be pretty straightforward, 645. So I know that I have 6 in the hundreds position, the 4 is in the tens, and the 5 is in the ones position. Now let's go to looking at something after the decimal place. So after the decimal, we have the 3 in the tenths position, the 4 in the hundredths, and we're talking about this 4, okay. The 9 is in the thousandths position, and then the 8 is in the 10,000ths position. I just spaced them out, that's why there's spacing there like that. Okay, 645 and, we always reference the decimal as the word and, 3,498 10,000ths. All right, so now let's begin actually writing them out in what we call word form. Okay, in word form. If we have 49.14, and I read that incorrectly just to get so I don't give away the answer, okay. The first part before the decimal is 49, so we should be able to write that 49. 49. The decimal always goes in as the word and. Always is the word and. And then what do we have after that? We have the number 14. So you write 14. 14. Now what position is that in? The 1 is in the tenths and the 4 is in the hundredths. Because that 4 is in the hundredths position, you write the word hundredths. Whatever the last digit position is in, that's the term that you use at the very end. Okay? Alright, let's try the next one here. This is 9. I'm going to start way over here. 9 and these take up a lot of space, so always make sure you have a lot of room on your paper. We have to write out 2,300 You write it out just like the number, like it was a regular number, 304, and then what position is this? Tenths, hundredths, thousandths. It's in the 10,000ths position, so 10,000ths. So again, that's 9 and 2,304 10,000ths. Good, good. Let's look at another one. So this one, again, right before the decimal, you're going to write out what it is. So that's 745. Okay. Again, always before the decimal should be pretty straightforward. Okay. The decimal is the word and. After the decimal, I only have the number 4. So I'm going to write the word 4. And then I have to figure out what place value that's in. It's in the tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So it's 4,000ths. It's kind of fun to say. You got to put that THS on there. Thousandths. Okay? So that's how you write things in word form. Now, we need to realize that sometimes they're given to you in word form and you have to write them like a regular number. That's called writing them in standard form. Writing them in standard form. So, if we have 42 thousandths, the big key here is seeing this THS. So I know, and there's no and, so I know I'm going to have a decimal, and then I've got 42 thousandths. So, thousandths means that I'm in the 1, 2, 3rd position. 42 only takes 2 numbers, so I know I have to put a 0 in here as a placeholder. So, look at it, 42. It's in the tenths, hundredths, thousandths. So that's correct. Okay, the next one. 8 and 6/10. So 8, and I know I have a decimal. 6/10. So 6 goes in the first spot, which is in the 10th spot. That was an easy one for you. Alright, a couple more. 16. So 1 6. And means decimal. 5/100ths. So if I just put a 5 here, that would be in the 10th position. So you need to realize, but that 5 needs to be in the hundredths position. So therefore I have to put a 0 here as a placeholder and then move the 5 over to the hundredths spot. Okay, always have that as an extra spot. Alright, 722. So 722. Word and means my decimal. 852, and so sometimes it might help just to write it over to the side, 852, and then it says thousandths. So let's check. If I put the decimal here, would that be in the thousandth spot? Tens, hundreds, thousandths. Yes, it would. Okay, so I can just put the 8.852. I didn't need any placeholders. Didn't need to put any zeros in. That's what I like to do, is to kind of check this over to the side and decide whether or not you need to put the 0 in there to bump it out another position or not. Okay, so you've learned today how to write decimals in word form, and then if you're given the words, how to translate those back into what we call standard form, which is really just writing them as a regular number. I hope you've learned a lot today. Be sure and check out all the other videos that I have on decimals as well, comparing them, rounding them, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing decimals. If you need more help, just send an email to stemtutorplace@gmail.com. I also have a lot of math units and lessons available, so make sure that you subscribe to Tutorplace. I hope you have a great day, and thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.